Okay, so before we go and create accounting calendar, what we'll do is we'll just log into the instance and we'll look at the help portal which is available. Okay, so our username is erpetri, provide password. Now to navigate to the instance, to navigate to the project, the process is click on the username and go to setup and maintenance. Here, whatever the logo you could see, somebody for practice, they uploaded the logo. Any logo we can upload here. Okay, I'll just show you from where you can do it. Okay, just click on the username or next to that we have a drop down option. Click on that, then click on setup and maintenance. And just click on this task list or say task panel and click on task called as manage implementation projects and click on overview tab so that what are the projects assigned to our current user, the same you can see. So this is our implementation project which we created. Then click on the project. Okay, so now if you want to just explore on any task which we perform as a project part of project, what we have to do is first we have to enable help. Okay, just click on help. So help is enabled, help option is enabled. Okay, so just search for any one of the tasks. Say we'll go and search for accounting calendar or anything, any task you can search. Say accounting calendar. So just here the same manage accounting calendar task is available from two offerings, procurement and financial. You can just click on any one of the tasks. Both are same, both will take us to same page to create the accounting calendar. Just click on manage accounting calendars. Here we enabled help because of the reason for any task or task list you see here, the system is enabling the help. Now you want to know what is a accounting calendar and other relevant information. So in that case, you can click on help icon against the task. Manage accounting calendars we call as a task. So here just very high level information they are giving and the relevant information, calendar validations and critical choice. So if you want to get to know about only this information, you can click on specific hyperlink. Okay, it is just opening more information. Still, if you want to see detailed information related to calendar validation, you click on more. It will open the separate tab with relevant information. So it's only for calendar validation. Okay, calendar validation, how it works. You can just go through it. And relevant questions also we have, relevant help questions. And instead of you're just navigating for this only this topic related help, if you want to go to help portal, if you want to navigate to help portal, what you can do is here we have a more help option. Just click on this hyperlink, it will take us to help portal. Okay, just you have to click on more help, it will take us to help portal. This we call as a help portal. Here you can search for any information. Okay, here you can search for any information. So here you have a product wise you can do the filtration. Okay, help types we have, we'll see all those. Okay, you want to filter the information only for finance, again within the financials specific area of application help you want to search. This is how you can select. We'll see that. So say for example we want to search for accounting calendar related information. So we have a keyword called as accounting calendar. Select it and click on search. So we are able to see 609 items found. Okay. So which are related to this accounting calendar, or where this accounting calendar term is included. That's all information you can see. Now here we can filter this search results with a product also. Okay, with the product also you can filter only that accounting calendar related information which is belongs to GL you want to see. Just select GL, just say apply. There may be some help related topics to explore other than GL also, which are related to accounting calendar. These all are related to accounting calendar. Calendar validation, define accounting calendar, calendars explained. Okay, so how can I identify errors in accounting calendar, etc., etc. You have a many uh, search results which are related to accounting calendar. If you want to filter this help related results based on the type of help, here you have an option help type. Just click on this drop down, and here out of this 133 help items you have a 20 results which are related to example, and 14 FAQs we have related to this accounting calendar, and help topics you have 99, PDF guides you don't have anything, videos you don't have anything which are related to accounting calendar. You want to know only FAQs related to accounting calendar, so uncheck rest of all types, say apply. Now system will filter only FAQs. How can I identify errors in my accounting calendar? Okay, what happens if I upgrade my calendar from Oracle EBS Suite to EBS Suite Release 12? Okay, so how can I change accounting period name? How do I rebuild the GL balance queues? What is the difference between calendar and physical year period naming? So you can just go through all these FAQs. You have a number as 14. So this is how just you can filter. You want to go with only examples. Just you can select and say apply. So these are the all example, the worked examples. Create primer ledger, because this is connected with the calendar, that is reason these results also you are getting, and GL balance cubes, etc., etc. All these are the different examples which are relevant to accounting calendar. So this is how we can find. So I'm not going to filter with the product, uncheck, then say apply. So different product related accounting calendar help system will display. Again here you can uncheck. Here you can just select all. So apply. Total 609. We're able to see. So here we selected the product. We are not filtering with any specific product. This information is related to all. Okay. And because we selected open criteria for the product, you could see there are 9 videos which are related to this search results. You can uncheck all. You can just select videos and say apply. You could see on which concepts we have videos. So these are the concepts. Create an accounting method. Okay, if you just click on this results, you could see relevant video. You know the accounting method, Oracle provides seeded method. Apart from that, if you want to create your own, how to create that they just given as a simple video. You can just play that. Those are available in YouTube also. Whatever upload in YouTube, they linked in the instance.
Hello, my name is Barbara. In this tutorial, I'll show you how to create an accounting method. Accounting methods group subledger journal entry rule sets to define a consistent accounting treatment for each accounting event class and accounting event.
Okay, this information you may go through when you are just practicing on the instance. Okay, so this is how just you can search for any information. I'm just closing this. So here we have a search results. In the same way you can search for anything. So accounting calendar, sorry, chart of accounts. So chart of accounts. You click on search. Okay, chart of accounts segment related some help information. So this is how you can search for any information, or else if you want to filter the detail results, you can select specific offering or specific option. You want to search for the information related to only payables. Okay, in that case you can select only payables and you can start searching some information which are related to payables, and system will display say invoices. So invoice actions. Okay, there may not be some relevant results. Here also verify. Okay, here we unchecked or it could be anything. System has to display. So around 48 items found related to invoice accounting. Invoice related. Invoice, wherever invoice term is included, all just system is displaying. Okay. So this is how we have a help portal. We can just navigate from here. First we have to enable help. Then system will be enabling the help for the task list and tasks which are in the project. If you want to see very high level information, you can click on that. Here you will be able to see, or else for the relevant topics, there itself they'll provide the key help classification related to the task or whatever you are selecting. You can go through it, or else directly if you want to navigate to help portal, you can click on more help. Okay, so just you try with this when you are practicing on the instance. Fine. Now we'll see how to create the accounting calendar. Okay, how to create the accounting calendar we'll see as we discussed in the last session. So if you want to create accounting calendar in EBS, first we have to create the period type. Then we create accounting calendar through manual process. Everything we have to enter period name and period type selection, and quarter, which number, period number, and from date to date, and finally system will create the period name. If required, we will modify. So otherwise we can load the accounting calendar related periods from data loader. Okay, by using the data loader sheets. In the sheets you can provide that information, we can load it to the system. But in the Fusion applications, you no need to just enter, or you no need to load. the process they automated, you have to go to specify the information how you want, with how many periods you want to create, with what naming convention required for periods, or with what name you want to create the calendar, how many adjusting periods you require within your accounting calendar, all the specifications we can give, then system will create accounting calendar automatically. We'll see the same. So we are in the project now, and we just search for the task called as accounting calendar. Yes, here this is the accounting calendar task. Now what we have to do is we have to click on go to task icon. Just we have to click on go to task icon, so that system will allow us to create the accounting calendar. Okay, system will allow us to create accounting calendar. Just click on go to task icon. So this is a page where we can create the accounting calendar. Here you could see many accounting calendars already created. Since this instance is vision, so for practice purpose, many are created. Now we'll see how to create the new accounting calendar. Just click on create icon, and we can provide the name. Okay, you can provide the name here. So name we can use, say, XYZ accounting calendar. It's not accepting more than these many characters. Okay, we'll go with this naming convention, XYZ accounting calendar. And description you can write, it's optional, XYZ accounting calendar. And start date. So we are going to create a new accounting calendar. Start date you have to specify. Based on that, it will create number of periods by starting with the specific date which you are going to give. So we'll go with the primary ledger definition by selecting USD. So in case of USD, here US, when you talk about for US, the accounting calendar should be Jan to December, right? So we'll go with the Jan 1st, the start date. Select as a Jan 1st. And what is the period frequency we want to follow for this accounting calendar? In case of EBS, to set the period frequency, we create period type. Right here, you don't need to create. So most of the period frequencies they provided, you can select whatever required. You can go with the monthly. And the separator, that means between the period name and the year name. Okay, what is the separator required that you have to select here? And format, period format, the period name, month name in 3 characters, and year name in 2 characters, or else how you require you can select. These are the different period name related formats available. You can select whatever required. So this would be the very much standard format which we use, that you can accept. Now you can select adjusting period frequency for this accounting calendar. Okay, how many adjusting periods you want to have for this, and again when we require, how we require. So you can go through all this information once at beginning of year and once at end of the year, or okay, once mid year and once at year end, and once mid year and twice at year end. Means total 3 adjusting periods, once at year end, twice at year end, none. Otherwise quarterly one adjusting period is required. Otherwise you can select other, so that it will allow you to give the number of adjusting periods. If you don't need any adjusting periods in our accounting calendar, set to none. And one more point here, budgetary control only. So in EBS, whatever the accounting calendar we use within our primary ledger, by using the same accounting calendar, we create the budget. If you want to create the budget in GL, for budget also we use accounting calendar periods only. But in Fusion, you can use different calendar for budgeting purpose apart from accounting calendar. So one accounting calendar you can use for primary ledger purpose to record the transactions, and you can have a different accounting calendar for budgeting purpose. If you are going to create, okay, sorry. So that's what I just selected it, changed. One second. If you are going to use accounting calendar, okay, for the purpose of budgeting, you can enable the checkbox. That can
Lakshman,
be
I
used
have a
only
question
for
here.
budgeting. Sorry?
I have a question.
Yeah, please.
When we created an implementation project, we started, it gave us a list of tasks, right? And we started doing one by one. Those list of tasks are in sequential order, or how should we find out, like which one to do first and then
Yeah.
next?
Those are in the sequence order only, but not everything. Some set of
Okay.
tasks are in the sequence. Say, for example, you want to create accounting calendar. To create accounting calendar, sorry, you want to create the chart of accounts. If you want to create the chart of account, you have to perform many tasks. Those are in the sequence. But to do the entire implementation, all the tasks you don't see in the sequence. Some relevant object related, definition related tasks you can see in the sequence. Okay, not
Okay.
everything, not everything. Okay, some set of tasks you can see in the sequence which are very much related. Rest you have to know to perform those setups. Okay, these are just gone. We'll give the name again. Sorry, XYZ accounting. Okay, or else just we'll go with the name. We use Google Accounting Calendar. We'll use the as a client Google. It's not accepting more characters. Accounting calendar. It should start from which date? John. Say first. And period frequency. Okay, which period type you want to use? Say monthly. And the separation and format and all already discussed. And how many adjusting periods do you require within this accounting calendar that you can select here? Say we require once at year end. Otherwise, how you require you can select accordingly. And if you want to use the accounting calendar only for budgeting purpose, you just enable it. Okay, you can enable it here, or else whatever the accounting calendar you are creating by default, that would be available for budgeting. But you want to have accounting, you want to have a separate calendars, one for primary ledger purpose and other accounting calendar like only for budgeting purpose. In that case, you can enable the checkbox so that this accounting calendar can be used only for budget definition. And here they given a note which we are aware of when we are working on EBS. We know we cannot perform the translation in adjust in any one of the first period, right? Within the accounting calendar, what are the first period we have, we cannot run the translation. That's how we have a restriction. So to override it, what we'll do is, so always if that is a scenario, that is a case, if you have a requirement of running the translation in the first period will take as a adjusting period. One period first will take. In that case, you may go with this. If you have a requirement of running the translation in the first period, you may go with this option. So you can say once at beginning of year and once at end of the year. So if you select it, your real first period will become adjusting, so that anyway you never plan to run that translation within that period. The second period, as per system count, that would be our first period. In first period also will be able to run the translation. Okay, so that just they given the note when we are creating the accounting calendar, the important points which we have to notice related to translation. Since we got limitation, they given the note. Okay, so here you can specify how you require, which period type, and what is the period format, and how many adjusting periods you require. All the specifications you can give. After that, you can just click on next. Then system will create the accounting calendar. Okay, before we proceed with this action, any questions here, please?
I have one question.
Any questions from anyone, please?
Hello.
So your voice is very low. Okay, not audible.
Hi, I just want to know like when we use budgetary, what scenario we'll be using the budgetary control?
See, by default, not required. Say you are going to have your accounting calendar with monthly. See, more or less, will be doing the budgets also monthly base only. Or else, if you have a requirement where you are using your accounting calendar monthly and you want to have a weekly budget, in that case, you can create here accounting calendar with the field frequency as a weekly. Okay, so weekly you can create and you can enable it. When you are defining the budgeting periods will be selecting weekly, but your accounting calendar periods will remain monthly. So that is a case where you can define separate accounting calendar for budgeting. You can enable this, but generally we use accounting calendar only for budgeting purpose. Also, if any company has such kind of requirement, so to fulfill that, they're given this option. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Any questions, please? Any questions
Hello,
here? Yeah.
Ashwin. How is this budget can this linked to a ledger?
So we'll see that because we have to do the setups. Okay. In EBS, what we do, we'll just go and enable as a budgetary control is required for that accounting calendar ledger level,
Yeah.
and we'll do the relevant configuration. Similar to that, here also we'll do the setup. That's how we can link. We'll see those.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, when you are working on GL core functions, we have a budget concept also as a part of our course curriculum. So we are going to see that. Okay, I'll take it. So any other questions here?
Lakshman, yeah. Do you have a list of setups like in sequential orders?
So we are going to perform that. We are going to perform all the setups in the sequential order. Okay, we are going to
Okay.
perform all the setups in the sequential order only.
Yeah.
That you can make it.
Lakshman.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Please go.
Yeah, with regard to the sequence, to add to that, you're doing a sheet, right? Like as and when you're training us, you're using one Excel sheet, right? I think that Excel sheet is actually having the order of how we are performing and stuff.
Correct.
Would it be possible for you to share that Excel sheet also from time to time, in that shared drive?
Sure. I'll do that.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, we'll do that. Fine. So any other questions here, please? Fine, no questions. Okay, now just click on next so that system will create accounting calendar with this period type starting with this date and by including one adjusting period. Yeah, please. I think seems to somebody is.
Ashman, as someone spoke about the sequence order of doing all this, I mean, can you share, I mean, step by step or how, I don't know, for practicing, how it could help from your end?
Yeah, see, I'm writing here. So to create the primary ledger, what setups we have to do the accounting calendar, and the next what we'll be doing, all the tasks which you have to perform the sequence. I'll be just writing here. The guys who has EBS knowledge or experience, for them it is not new. Okay, more or less similar. But if somebody has different background, if you are finding everything new, I just suggest to make
Yeah.
a note from your end also. Anyway, I'll be sharing the sheet. Other side, I'll be sharing the video also. So that would be more than enough. Still, if you are expecting some summary of information and all, better you can start taking the note when we are going through all these points. That would help you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank
Yeah, fine. I'll be sharing the sheet. I'll be sharing the videos, right? And apart from this, still, if you want to prepare note from your end, yes, you can go ahead. Okay, fine, done. So, any other questions here, please? So this is how just we have to provide the information as per the calendar definition requirement. Okay, what frequency, etc. All the details. Then once we are okay with this information, click on next. Then system will create accounting calendar with 12 periods monthly, right? We given period frequency monthly, that means 12 periods plus one set year and adjusting period, total 13 periods. The 13 period system will create accounting calendar. Just click on next.
Lakshman, one quick question. Sorry. That in adjusting period, I know we are currently doing it yearly. If it is yearly, a P13 will be included. But if it is quarterly, how does that work? I have never seen any system set up like that. That's why the question.
You select quarterly, the options will remain same. One set year end or beginning one and ending one. Okay, the same options, the adjusting periods options remain same. I'll take you through that. Okay, let's proceed with this definition. Okay, we'll see that if you want to go through. Okay, same options will remain. So since we selected period frequency as a monthly, system created 12 periods, and along with the 12 periods, okay, system created one adjusting period. The reason we selected one set year, so total 13 periods. Now we have to save this. Just click on save. Okay, just click on save. After saving this accounting calendar, if you want to create the periods for next year, just one click. You can click on add year. It will add periods for next year, that is 2019. Now we have periods for 2018 from Jan to December, including adjusting period also. So system is marking the period as adjusting period. These all are created by system only based on the specifications whatever we given. Okay, if you want to create the periods for 2019, just click on add year. The one click it will add periods for 1 year. Now you could see the periods for 2019 also. Jan 2019 to December.
That's one, sir.
Adjusting period. Please.
Hello. Lakshman sir, what work we have done in adjustment period?
Oh, the question. You don't know EBS?
Yes, sir.
So then you will be having many questions. Okay. So see, that's what I am telling right from beginning. If you have some sort of knowledge on EBS, then you can attend these classes. If you are trying as a beginner, we don't recommend. Okay, we don't recommend these classes. See, normally in the adjusting period, what to do, end of the year, you may pass some adjustment entries instead of entering the adjustment entries in the actual periods. That is the purpose. But so we'll be having many questions if that is a case.
No, sir. Actually, I'm working in a GL module, and it is implemented in my office also. So this is a financial year, and we have an adjustment period this March.
Okay.
So I want to functionality of this area.
Yeah. The point is just, so normally we generally have adjusting period in the end of the year. So you might be talking about India client. That is the reason you are talking about. So March month. So March is a financial year ending, right? So that is the reason you will be having the end of the year adjusting period. In the adjusting period, what we'll do when you are closing the books, end of the year, all the adjustment entries will be maintaining in the separate period. That is adjusting period. That is the purpose we use the adjusting period. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Fine, Anil. So Anil will have a just call maybe after end of the session to understand few points. So whether you can proceed with this or it will have some just challenge when we are doing this. So we'll have a call on that. Okay. Fine. So this is how you can add the periods for next years. Okay, just once you click on add year, it will be adding the periods for 2020. Okay, then says.
Yeah, one more question.
Please.
That dash budgetary control only is there, right? So if budgetary control was checked instead of dash, will that be a checkmark or something?
Sorry.
In the previous screen, there was a label that said dash budgetary control. So Does that mean that if we check the budgetary control here in the next screen,
Dash,
that
simple,
dash
simple.
control will be marked as
Hey,
X?
hey, dash in the sense that means it is showing that budgetary control is not enabled for this calendar. It is showing.
Okay, if it is enabled, what will be the symbol?
It will be showing as enabled. It will be marking check mark. It will be showing like tick mark.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So here, if you go with this, say quarterly. Okay, the quarterly accounting calendar should start from when? Say from first. And what about your adjusting periods? The same, similar. Once at beginning of year, once at year end of the year. Before first quarter, one adjusting, and after fourth quarter, one adjusting. These will remain same. Your period type can be anything. It can be daily or weekly or monthly or quarterly or anything. These you can have accordingly. Okay, there won't be any difference in this. Fine, this is how we can create accounting calendar. Any
What
questions
is
on this?
other?
Sorry?
What is the meaning of other in that adjusting period?
Other means you can give your whatever the number you want to give. Okay, here this every option has a specification, right? Every option talks about how many adjusting periods, when those adjusting periods required. If you don't need none, you can set, otherwise you can just specify other. You need 5 adjusting periods. It will add in the end of the year. That's all. Other than these options, other than this, if you have some requirement like you need 4 adjusting periods or 5 or 6, all will be added in the end of the year. That is the meaning of other. Fine. Here you could see that same whatever we created. So we given the name as Google search, Google accounting calendar. Select, click on edit. Okay, 2018. If you want to see 2000, this is search section. Okay, you can enter 2018. Use enter from keyboard. It will display the periods related to 18 only. I think here selected 19, so that is the reason it's not displaying. So 18. Okay, if you have just already selected as all, in that case you can just filter for 18 only. Filtering only 18 periods. Fine. So anytime, just if you want to understand about this accounting calendar, if you are not aware of, since we enabled help, the same help system is displaying here. You can click on this help icon and you can just read more about it. Defining accounting calendar. Okay, when we define accounting calendar, what are the points you have to consider, what you should understand, all you can find from here. And just go with all these details if you are very new to this definition. Okay, if you know in EBS, there's no big difference. Only the point what we have to understand, how to create accounting calendar in Fusion, that's all. Okay, just we have to give those specifications and system will create the periods automatically. So this is all about accounting calendar. And to create the primary ledger, we require other components also, right? Along with the accounting calendar, currency, chart of accounts, and accounting method. Now we'll talk about next component called as currency. So in EBS or Fusion, you can see currencies as seeded data. Okay, in EBS and Fusion, all the currencies are predefined. You can see as a seeded definitions. So in case of EBS, if you want to go and create your primary ledger, before that we have to enable the currency. We have to enable. If you don't enable the currency, what will happen? At the time of primary ledger creation, you cannot find the currency. The currencies which are enabled, those only you can find at the time of primary ledger creation. Otherwise, later when you are recording the transactions also, Only enabled currencies should be available to select in the transaction. So in the fusion, by default, all currencies you can see as enabled. In EBS, you have to enable which currencies you require, you have to enable. But in the fusion, we no need to enable any currencies. By default, all currencies are enabled. If you want to disable, you can disable all the currencies which your client is not going to use for the business transactions purpose. Okay, so reverse activity we have to perform here. By default, all currencies are enabled. Which currencies you don't require in the application as active to use, so you can go and disable. If you don't disable, what happens? Whenever you go to the currency field, wherever it is applicable, it will show all the currencies. So for that reason, you may disable it. I will go and see whether all currencies are enabled in this instance or not. Okay, so if you want to see that, search for the task called as currencies. Okay, just simply just what you want to create or what you want to go through, just search with the term. You don't need to give any percentages and all. Simply you can just search. Here is the task called as manage currencies. So manage currencies task is available from the different paths, navigation paths. So since we are working on financials, you can go with a finance related task. Financials. Any task will take us to the same page. Okay, here is the financials. You can click on manage financials. Here also we have financials, same task we have. Any one of the tasks you can click which is against financials. Okay, or if you are going to click on this procurement related manage currencies, that also will take us to same page. It won't make any difference. There will be some task which will make some difference that we'll discuss when we work on those relevant. Okay, now you can click on manage currencies. Instead of finding these many values, these many tasks here which are irrelevant, you may search with the task term called as manage currencies, so that you can see the limited tasks here which are available from the different navigation paths. These are the navigation paths. So click on manage currencies. If you want to see the path navigation path again, you can click on show hierarchy. If you want to go with the manual navigation, this is the navigation you can follow. Sorry. So just click on search. Just click on manage currencies. Here you can click on show hierarchy. So if you want to navigate to this task, manage currencies, this is the actual manual navigation we have to follow. First, we have to go to financials offering, then define extensions for financials, then maintain common reference objects. Under that, we have define ISO reference data, and under that, we have a task called as manage currencies. Okay, so now if you want to know about what is the meaning of currencies and all, you may click on help and you can go through the relevant information. Anyway, we don't need to understand related to this. Just simply you can click on go to task icon. Just click on go to task icon to go through the currencies which are available, whether those are enabled or disabled. You can have a look. Just click on go to task icon. It will take us to the same page where we can find the currencies. So currency code, say USD, and click on search. So you can notice here USD currency is enabled. You may think since this is a vision, since somebody might have enabled. No. So you can just remove that currency. You can go with the open search. You could see all the currencies as enabled. All currencies are enabled. That's how you find any instance in case of fusion. When you get fresh instance from Oracle for our client, so within that environment also you could see as all currencies are enabled. If you think
So this was not.
Yeah, please.
Sorry, this was not from the import Nokia data, right? This is by default. It is there.
Currency is not related to import Nokia data. Import Nokia data related to just address related structures. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, fine. So this is how you can find the currencies. Any currency you can search and you can see as a enabled. Okay. So in EBS case, when you go to the currency definition page, you could see many columns over there, right? You could see many columns like what is the symbol of currency, issuing territory, etc., precision, all the information. Yes, here also you can see the same, but to see that you have to expand this. Okay, this is a currency USD currency record. So if you want to see that additional information which is related to currency, click on expand. It will display those details below. Okay, symbol, precision, extended precision, etc. All the other details you could see, issuing territory USA, United States, all the information you can see here. They give an option to extend. They're not providing by default to see all the information. That is applicable for any currency. Here, what point we have to remember? In Fusion, we no need to enable the currencies. All currencies are by default enabled. Okay, that's all. So that's all about currency part and the chart of accounts. Okay, COA, right? Chart of accounts. When you talk about chart of accounts, so we have to perform multiple tasks which defines chart of accounts complete definition. So to create the chart of accounts, first what we have to do is we have to create value sets. Create value sets, then create chart of accounts structure. Here structure means just will give the structure name. Within the chart of account structure, we create segments. So create segments, and for each segment we have to assign value sets. Okay, assign value sets to segments, relevant segments. So in EBS, what we do, we assign flex field qualifiers to segment. The same flex field qualifiers, okay, the same flex field qualifiers in Fusion we call as segment labels. We call as segment labels. Say assign segment labels to segments. The segment labels. Here whatever we are calling as segment labels, those we have in EBS as a flex field qualifiers. In EBS flex field qualifiers, in Fusion we are calling as segment labels. We have to assign segment labels to segments. So that's how we have to create the chart of account structure. After creating the chart of account structure in Fusion, we have to create chart of account structure instance. We'll understand what is the meaning of that. Just you try to note the points, what is the sequence of tasks we have to perform. So after completing that, we'll create chart of account structure instance. Okay, that means we are creating one additional definition called as chart of account structure instance. We don't have a concept called as chart of account structure instance in Oracle EBS. Okay, this concept instance definition they taken from PeopleSoft. Okay, we'll talk on that more detail level. We'll see that. Okay, so first we have to create value set. After that, we'll create the chart of account structure. Just it's all about giving the name. Within that structure, we'll create the segments. For each segment, we'll assign the relevant value sets, and for each segment or required segments we assign segment labels. Here whatever we are calling as segment labels in EBS we have as a flex field qualifiers. EBS flex field qualifiers only we are calling as segment labels in Fusion. So after that we have to create chart of account structure instance. We have to create the instance against the chart of account structure. What is the reason how to create that we'll understand. So after that, so in EBS, what we do after creating the chart of account structure, we freeze and we compile, right? We freeze and compile. Here there is no concept called as freezing the chart of account structure. It's similar to compile. We submit the chart of account structure for a deployment. So after creating the chart of account structure and instance along with that, what is the meaning of instance we'll come to know when we work on it. We'll discuss and we'll do it. So after completing the task, we have to deploy. In EBS, what we freeze and compile, we freeze specific chart of account structure, right? We'll select chart of account structure, we freeze it and we compile it. But where we create our chart of account structure in EBS or Fusion, same key flex field, accounting key flex field. Accounting key flex field. So in the system, you may see name as accounting flex field only. You may not they may not include the term called as key, but reality that is accounting key flex field. So by using accounting key flex field, we can create the chart of account structure in EBS or Fusion. But in EBS, if you want to compile any chart of account structure, first you have to select chart of account structure. After selecting, you will freeze and you will compile. But in Fusion, you cannot deploy. Equal to compile, we have a deployment. You cannot deploy specific chart of account structure. You can deploy entire accounting key flex field. So we have to deploy the accounting key flex field, not specific chart of account which is there within the accounting key flex field. So we have to deploy the entire accounting key flex field, or call it as accounting flex field. Okay, but reality that is accounting key flex field. So now here what we have to do, we have to deploy accounting flex field. So if you deploy accounting flex field, within this accounting flex field, how many chart of account structures are there? All will be deployed. That means all system will compile. After completing this activity only, we have to create the segment values. Create segment values. Okay, so in EBS you can create value set and immediately you can create the values also into that value sets, but here you cannot do it. After completing all these setups only, we have to create the value sets. If you try to create the values within the value sets in this stage itself, you'll have a issue. What is the issue and all, at the time of creation we'll talk about it, but try to understand the sequence. So this is a sequence we have to follow. We have to create value set segment values after deploying our accounting flex field. So in EBS, for segment values, what we assign, segment qualifiers, right? In EBS, if you are creating any segment value, it can be balancing segment value, natural account segment, or cost center, any segment related value. If you are going to create, we assign segment qualifiers like allow budgeting, allow posting if it is a natural account type, right? And other qualifiers like third party control, reconcile, and all. These are the different segment qualifiers we have. So will be assigning specific as a mandatory and other as required. So the same segment qualifiers in Fusion we are calling as value attributes. So those segment qualifiers in EBS, segment qualifiers we assign to segment values. Now the segment qualifiers only we are calling as value attributes. That means value attributes we have to assign to segment values. Just let's take as a point, say assign segment, say value attributes. Say value attributes to segment values. Value attributes nothing but segment qualifiers in EBS. EBS segment qualifiers in Fusion we are calling as value attributes. The segment qualifiers are value attributes we have to assign to segment values only. So this is how we have to create the chart of accounts. These are the list of tasks which we have to perform to complete the chart of accounts definition. Okay, we'll understand what is instance, why instance is required. Okay, how to create those we'll see at the time of definition. So very high level here. Any questions when you compare with EBS? Okay, any questions here, please? So how many? Yeah.
Lakshman, as we have a cross-validation rule and the allow dynamic inception, right, while freeze and compiling the chart of accounts.
Correct.
Yeah, so how that going to be work here?
Yeah, same logic here also. Just will be enabling the cross-validation rules. If required, accordingly you can define the rules. You can set up the SR secret rules, and you can just define the rules within that. The same way it works. We'll be working on that. Just as information, yes, the same features we have in the Fusion also, because that is a very basic requirement which we see for any client to prevent invalid code combinations or specific segment values. So along with that, we have a data access set also, where you can set read only or read and write privileges. Those are altogether different concepts. Okay, so we have the same in Fusion also. Okay. So, but here what we have to understand that enabling cross-validation rules we do at chart of account structure level or instance level, we have to understand. So when we are doing that configuration, we'll come to know that. Basically, we'll be setting at instance level. Instance is the one which we'll be using as a part of primary ledger creation. We don't use chart of account structure. We have to see once so that you can understand. Then we can talk on this more and more. What are the information we require to understand these concepts? Okay, so this is a sequence we have to follow, and one more point is in EBS. So what we do, we'll go to the chart of account structure, we create the segments. After creating the segment, we create the value sets within the chart of account structure and we'll assign those value sets to segments. But in the Fusion, without creating the value set, you cannot create the segments. That is the reason this sequence we are following. At the time of segment creation, value set is mandatory. If you remember in EBS, segment creation time value set is optional. Okay, you'll see the field as an optional field even when you create the chart of account structure. So by default, the field is optional. That is the reason first we create the segment, later we create the value sets. Those value sets will assign to respective segments. So that is a process we follow. But in Fusion, without creating the value set, you cannot create the segment. To create the segment definition, value set is mandatory. You cannot create segment first, value set later, and you cannot assign the same value set to any one of the segment. Not possible. This is the exact sequence we have to follow. Any questions here, please? Any questions from anyone, please?
Lakshman, I did not understand that freeze and compile option you told in EBS, right? Same thing we have deploy here, but is that the only difference, or I didn't quite get that?
You know EBS, right?
Yes.
So in EBS, what we do is we freeze. Okay, we freeze the chart of accounts, then we compile. This happens in EBS. That in EBS we do it for specific chart of accounts. In Fusion, okay, what we do is there is no concept called freeze. Directly we'll deploy. Okay, we deploy. What we deploy? Not chart of accounts. Here we deploy flex field, accounting flex field. That's it. Here we just freeze and compile chart of accounts. Here instead of specific chart of account, entire accounting flex field will deploy. Deploy is equal to compile. When you just go with the deploy, it will submit for compilation. That's it. Fine. So we'll be performing all this, and it would be more clear. Before we get into that activity, just I'm trying to give you some information.
Lakshman?
Yeah, please.
Lakshman?
Yeah, I can hear you. Please go.
I have a doubt on it. Yeah. You told the value set is mandatory in segment assignment.
Segment creation. Yes, if you
Hello.
want to create the segment, value set is mandatory.
Yeah.
Seems to have some issue
Let
here.
me,
So we know the I can't hear
hello.
you what you're speaking. Yeah, please.
Can you?
Now it's fine. Like, please repeat your question, please.
Yeah. Value set is mandatory in segment creations. Okay. If I need user entry, if you while creating accounting structure, I can use anything in use.
Nothing. I don't get anything from your question. If you have question ready, please. Otherwise, we can discuss later. Please don't mind. Okay. Any questions here, please? Okay. Now we'll go and see how to create the value sets and how to create the chart of account structure and segments and value set assignments and what are the different labels we have, and how to create the chart of account structure instance against the chart of account structure, and how to perform the deployment, what are the points you have to understand when you deploy, and how to create the segment values at the time of segment values, how to assign the value attributes which are nothing but segment qualifiers in EBS. Fine. Hope this is clear to everyone. The same sequence we are going to follow. Any questions from anyone? If no questions, we can start doing the setups in the system.
How many segments we have? Is it like 30 segments like in ABS?
Same. Okay. Number of segments is remain same, but the qualifiers number they changed. In EBS, the qualifiers, whatever the number, it could be flexible qualifier, segment qualifiers. The same we are calling a segment labels and a value attribute. That number got changed. Anyway, that we are going to see. Number wise, 31.
Got it.
See, they didn't increase. The reason is we don't use big number of segments, right? That won't become good practice. So always we have to try to reduce number of segments to improve the system performance, right? So that is the reason they didn't give any provision to have more than 30. Fine.
That is true. Okay.
So now just we'll proceed with the value set creation. So go to instance here, search for within the project, search for chart of accounts value sets. Chart of accounts value sets. You can search with this term. Click on search. Which value sets we are going to create? Chart of accounts related value sets. So you can drag little right here to see the full task name. Manage chart of accounts value sets. So here the task is available from procurement related path as well as financials. You can choose finance related tasks. Okay, so just click on this task, manage chart of accounts value sets. Now here you could see the sequence. So this is a sequence we have to follow exactly. First we have to create the chart of accounts related value sets, then we have to create the chart of account structures. Within the structure only we create the segments. For segments we assign so segment labels, nothing but flexible qualifiers. And here, so after structure is ready with segments and segment labels assignment, then you can create the chart of account structure instance. After that we'll deploy. Okay, deploy is not a separate task, that is the activity which you perform within the task only. So and finally we create the chart of account value set values. This is the exact sequence we have to follow. Okay, this is how for a few definitions you can see the task in the exactly in the sequence. Okay, value sets, then structure, within the structure anyway segments and labels, and then instance, then values. This is the sequence we have to follow. Now we'll just go with the value sets creation. Okay, so click on go to task icon against manage chart of accounts, value set values. If you want to see the exact navigation instead of searching, always you can see show hierarchy icon here. You can click on that. It talks about what is the navigation if you want to go through manual process. Financials, define common applications configuration for financials. Within that, you have to select define enterprise structure for financials. Within that, we have to select define financial reporting structures. Under financial reporting structures, you can find define chart of accounts. Under the task list, you can see the task called as manage chart of accounts value sets. Okay, this is how you can find the navigation. If you need any navigation, in case of EBS, navigations are very simple because for each and every application will have a separate responsibility. But here we have a project within that many application related grouping. Here they are giving as a task list. That is the reason it's very lengthy navigations to make a note or anything. So that is the reason normally we don't go with all these navigations with the manual process. Always will search directly, will target to the specific task and will be performing. Okay, fine. This is the task which you have to perform now. We have to create the value sets. Just click on go to task icon. Before we go and create value sets, let's decide how many value sets we require. For our testing convenience, what we'll do is we'll go and have few segments. Say we'll have one segment called as company, then we'll create one more segment called as department, and we'll have another segment called as account. We'll be just working on AGS, Advanced Global Intercompany also. So at that time, we'll just create a separate chart of account, and we'll keep one more, what I can say, one more segment called as intercompany segment within that. Okay, we can just do it. So for now, just for our testing, we'll go with these three segments. So for three segments, we require three value sets. Okay, now we'll create three value set: company value set, department value set, and under account value set. So let's go and do it. So click on go to task icon. Okay, just click on go to task icon. So in Fusion applications, whatever you do as a setup, when you navigate to that page, by default you can see the search related section. For existing, you can search. In case of EBS, if it is a web page, normally we find search. If you go to supplier creation page or customer creation page, by default there will be some search option, like if you want to search existing suppliers, you can search, or else you can create. But other functions like whatever we create from specific forms, for most of the forms directly that will open to create the respective transaction or other information. If you want to go with the search, you have to select the search option. But here in the Fusion, what are the setups you do? For most of the setups, by default you can see search section. If you want to search existing definitions, you can search, or else you can create new. Okay, so we didn't create any value sets, but since this is a Vision instance, we have value sets available here. When I talk about Vision instance, okay, when I talk about Vision instance, let me write here. So in case of EBS, in the Vision instance, you could see some predefined value sets. Those normally you can see with operations, services, constructions. Normally, if you go with the Vision instance for our practice purpose or training purpose or other to test something, we use value sets like operations company, operations account, operations department, right? There you can see with the term called as operations company. There will be value set called as operations company, and in the same way operations account value set, which will have all the accounts. So that's how Oracle defined some sample definitions in case of EBS Vision instance. But in the Fusion, what naming convention they taken? Here they taken the predefined value sets with corporate accounts. Okay, we have one value set called as corporate account. Within the corporate account value set, we have all the accounts, most of the accounts. In the same way, for company, they have a corporate company. But anyway, we are not going to depend on that. We'll be creating our own value set just for information. When we are practicing, After going through this value sets definition again, if you want to use existing only, you can try in any vision instance, okay, with these names. The same you can see also. So search with the corporate, click on search. You can see corporate value sets in any vision instance, any vision instance. So here you have a value sets which are predefined: corporate account, corporate company, corporate cost center, corporate LOB, corporate product. So these are the predefined. So if you want to see the what are the values are created within this value set, select value set, click on manage values. So here if you want to search specific account, you can search. If you want to see all the accounts which are already created in this corporate account value set, click on search. So there are many account values within this value set. So system is taking time to fetch all those. Yes. Now you could see all the values which are there within this corporate account value set. Description enabled, start date and date if you want to set some controls, and summary, allow posting, allow budgeting, account type, third party control account. We'll see that when we are creating, we'll talk about it. Now just we are going through existing just for our understanding. Okay, so these are the predefined value sets in any vision instance. We know not in the production, right? So in any vision instance, you can find these predefined value sets. Okay, just cancel. Now we'll go and create our own value sets. Okay, this is a task, manage chart of account value sets. Click on go to task icon. We'll go and create 3 value sets: company, department and account. To create the new value set, click on create. So value set code. So we'll go with the same whatever the naming convention we are used for calendar, that is Google company value set. The same you can copy and paste for description, and select module. Why we have to select the module here? So in case of EBS, if you are creating the value set, we'll be creating the value set within the chart of account structure, right? We'll just go to the accounting flex field. Within that, we'll create the structure and we'll create the segment. Within the chart of account structure definition only, we have a tab called as value sets. From there, we'll be creating. If you are creating the value set over there that you are creating in the chart of account you can create within the accounting flex field. Accounting flex field in the GL. That's how system will make a note the value set you are creating for which application. But here we are not creating value sets within the chart of accounts. We are creating outside of the chart of accounts structure. That is the reason we have to select this value set for which application. So just select module as a GL, general ledger. So same how you define in EVS, the same process we have to follow when we talk about value set definition. So select validation type, say independent value set, and select value data type. I'll say character. In case of EBS, when you are creating this value data type and all, system will default. Okay, but here we are selecting. Even validation type also system will default as independent. If you want to change, you can change it. So whatever system defaults in case of EBS, here we have to select those also. And value subtype. Okay, so here security enabled related to SR, security rules. When we work on security rules concept, at that time we'll enable and we'll see how it works. But for now it's not required, just we are focusing on how to create the value set. So value subtype says test and maximum length. When you create, So this value set, within this we'll be entering the segment values, company values. The company code you want to give with maximum how much length? Say 4. With the 4 digits you can enter company code. Maybe it will allow you up to 9,999 companies. Okay, if you want to create as a maximum. Okay, in the same way like EBS, you can set the limit here. What should be the minimum value and the maximum value with the 4 digits? If you want to set, you can specify. If you want to set uppercase only, what are the information will be entering within this value set? If you want to set a restriction on that, only that should be uppercase, you can enable. And zero fill number, if you enter, say given 4, if you enter 1, if you want to fill the zeros in the left side, you can just set zero fill. In EBS you see zero fill numbers, right justify fill zero numbers. So the same option here they given just as a zero fill. So it will be, if you enter company as a 1, since maximum length we given as 4, it will fill 3 zeros left side. That's how finally it will have a 4-digit number for every company which you create. Okay, so this is how just you have to give the specifications, and you can say save and close. So this is how just simply you can create the value set. We created a value set for company. The same we will go and create the value set for department and account segments also. For those 2 segments to assign the value sets, we'll go and create. So we're done with that. Again click on create and give the value set name, say Google department, and select module as a general ledger. Validation type, say independent value set. Value type is a character. Subtype is text. Say department values length also we want to use 4. And say save and close. It's all about the number of values which will be maintaining will decide, right? But here just for testing I'm going with a all, with the 4 as a maximum length. So another value set is, say Google accounts, account value set. Select module as a general ledger. Validation type, say independent. Value data type is, say character. Select subtype test. Length for account, what is the length we require, that you can say 5 or 6 or any number. Now here I'm going with the 4 only. Then say save and close. So this is how we can create the value sets. We created 3 value sets. We'll go and find the same. So search. Okay, we created 3 value sets: Google account, Google company, Google department. Okay, then say save and close. We're done with the value set definition. Okay, now it's already 9:30. So in tomorrow's session we'll continue from here. We'll see how to create the chart of account structure within that segments and labels setting and instance creation. In tomorrow's session what we'll do is we'll just complete these all setups. These are the setups which you have to complete. After completing this, we'll create the primary ledger by just grouping the 4 C's: calendar, currency, chart of accounts, and accounting method. If time permits, we'll see the legal entity creation, legal entity assignment to ledger, balance and segment values to legal entity, and we'll complete the legal primary ledger definition, and we'll discuss the relevant points. Okay. So that's all for today. We're done with the today's session. If you want to drop from the meeting, you can go ahead. And if you have any questions, you can stay back and we can discuss. So any questions from anyone, please?
Lakshman, with regard to that security, what purpose is it used for? And there was also another field just below security, like so. What could that be?
Those 2 are related to same. We'll see. Like first we have to enable After that, the rule name you have to enter within that field, and you enable the checkbox, the field will be enabled. Okay, you have to enter the
Okay.
name over there, and again system will enable tab over there. So we'll see those will be working as a part of GL. When we are working on GL concepts, have a security rule concept, and we'll be working on it. Fine.
Yeah, and with regard to the corporate value set and the custom value set that we created, if the corporate value set matches our criteria, like that 4 number or that character, whatever, we can use that also, correct?
No. See, the point is the criteria and all. See, you are telling whatever we created custom and other one is corporate. Both are custom only. So when you get a fresh instance from Oracle, you don't see any value set. So the vision instance, which normally used for demo purpose, training purpose, within that as a sample definitions, they created all the setups and they created value set name as a corporate. We never find corporate value sets within our client instances. We don't use it all the time. We have to create our own. Okay, now for
Okay.
testing purpose, if you want to use it, you can use it. Okay, but best thing is you create it. You create it so that you will understand how to create. Okay, so after creating again, say next time, second time, third time, when you are practicing, again instead of creating your own value sets, you may use the corporate related value sets. So that's how you can make use of those value sets. Fine. Any other questions, please?
While creating the chart of accounts, I guess the chart of account can be created only on GL module, right?
Sorry?
Or do we have option to create in other modules? Chart of accounts and chart of account structure we create in GL module only,
Correct. Only
right?
GL. Yes. See, when you talk about the chart of account definition we create in GL, yes, that is true. So to create an EBS, if you want to create the chart of accounts, you can connect to that function from any application. It's all about the function is associated within which menu. You can create chart of account from any application. Finally, that would get connected to GL only. Okay, from APR also you can create. You have a navigation path. Finally, that would get connected to accounting flex field, which is part of GL application. Here also same. We will be creating the chart of accounts within the accounting flex field. Accounting flex field is owned by GL application. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. So, but we are creating. See, when we talk about any setups in Fusion application, we are not going and selecting some application. We are just within the project. We are searching for the task and we are trying to perform the setup. And just we have to understand the reality that setup is owned by which application. Okay, here when we are doing the setups, you can just drill down to navigation and you can see that. So here if you click on show hierarchy, for general ledger application we don't have separate folder. So when you say common application configuration for financials, means it's related to general ledger setup. When we are doing the setups for payables or receivables, there you can see that is belongs to what. Say for example, I want to create payment terms. Search for payment terms. Okay, so manage payment terms. The payment terms we create in which applications? Payables. Even receivables also you can create, that is the receivables payment terms. So here you don't see the information. This is a part of payable application. You may see some relevant tasks, but if you want to understand exactly this is where we are creating, you can click on this. It is showing. Okay, so in financials you have to go to define invoicing and payment configuration. It represents the setup related to payables. Within that you have to go to define payables. Under that you have define common application options. Okay, for payables and procurement. Under that we have these tasks. So this is how we can understand. In case of EBS, based on what setup we have to do, we have to go to that relevant responsibility. For each application we create separate responsibilities, but here we don't do it. By including all the application related options altogether offering, create the project. From project will be performing all these activities, but those definitely will relate to specific application only. Those you can find by clicking on this show hierarchy. So otherwise, normally if you know in EBS all this, when we are doing it easily, you'll be able to figure it out. Okay. So this is what we know. So any questions from anyone, please?
Lakshman, tomorrow class I will not be able to make it, and can I get the video so that I will be?
Yes. I'll be sharing the video. So today's session video I'll be uploading within 1 hour because I have to convert into the right format. So this today's session video you can expect within 1 hour. The same is applicable for tomorrow's session also. Yeah. After
Okay, is there any specific folder or how that?
same folder. What we do is we shade the folder, right? Google Drive. So we'll be placing the any video into that folder only. We are not going to send separate email for this video sharing and all. You can just go and hit that folder. You can find the video still last session. Last session video also uploaded to same folder. So we shared email, right? We shared through that whatever the folder access we got. You can find the videos within that. All the videos you'll find in the folder. If you have any issue, okay, you can just email us on this mail ID. Instead of if you have issue with instance, okay, if you have issues with instance or videos, that means Google Drive access. For these two reasons, if you have these two instance or when you are practicing issues, okay, when you are practicing with instance you are not able to access to instance, or when you are working on the instance you got some issue or you have some access issue with to access Google Drive videos. In these three cases please send a mail on this mail ID so that I'll be responding. If other than this, if any query you have, anything you want to discuss, you can keep in touch with our team. They can help you on that. For these reasons, you don't go and contact them. They cannot help you immediately. They have to pass the message to me and I have to look into that. I have to respond. If you have the issues related to this, please directly contact me on this mail ID.
Lakshman, funny here. I have sent an email 3 days back. I was not able to download the previous training batch videos.
Okay, I'll just look into that. I'll just
okay.
The note.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
So is this current videos also put under the same folder where we got the previous videos?
No, different folder.
Okay.
Different folder.
I don't think I got that email.
No. Who subscribed? I mean to say, who paid for this batch and all? We shared with everyone. You just verify, check your mail. Any chance to notice? If you see there is no email from us which is related to this Google Drive access and all, just drop me email on this that you need access. So immediately I'll be just sharing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. So any questions from others, please? Fine, no questions. We'll connect tomorrow same time. Have a good day and good night. Thank you all.